ups this spring. We're also doing free second opinions. We offer that year round. Somebody comes out, they say you got a bad compressor or leaking refrigerant, give us a call, see if we can save you some money.
Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. Thomas, one more time, that phone number.
256-503-4490.
AL certain number 21014.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. Alabama! Your home of the Crimson Tide Sports Network.
It is December 8th, 2025. Steve Moulton here with your sports update. After 15 weeks of college football, the playoffs are set. 6 different conferences are represented in the field for the first time in the playoff era since 2014. The playoffs will start Friday, December the 19th, with Alabama at Oklahoma. The first team out was Notre Dame. The Fighting Irish has also opted out of a bowl game, now one of 4 schools that have opted out. In the National Football League, Atlanta Falcon rookie edge James Pierce recorded his 6th sack of the season in Week 14. Pierce has a sack in 5 consecutive games, tied for the 4th longest streak by any rookie since 1982. Falcons fell at home to the Seahawks 37-9. Titans are winners on the road in Cleveland 31-29. Monday Night Football tonight features the 8-4 Eagles taking on the 8-4 Chargers.
You've been paying on that life insurance policy for years, but maybe you don't really need it anymore, or it's gotten a bit too expensive. Well, before you just let it expire, let Neighbors Insurance Solutions share with you some alternatives that you haven't considered. Don't throw away something that still may have great value for you. If you want to learn more about what Neighbors Insurance Solutions can do for you, call 256-763-7693. A death benefit could be a life benefit. Learn more at 256-763-7693.
This is your home for Alabama football.
Looking for Williams, comes back, makes the catch, trying to split defenders, makes them bang into each other, stays on his feet, breaks a tackle, scores, 4 plus 2 equals 6.
This is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Joe Hunk, John Abraham, 256-576-4977. Welcome to the Blitz.
Hello and welcome back to another week of Sports Talk, Goofscaps, and so much more. It is the Blitz here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, as well as ESPN Winchester. I am John Abraham. He is Joe Hunk. And we are back to bring you guys all the information you need to know about all things sports. And right now it's mainly going to be focused on the college football playoffs because I think there was a little bit of controversy that happened over the weekend. So, we're going to be diving into that. And, of course, the Alabama Crimson Tide do fall to the Georgia Bulldogs in the SEC Championship 28-7.
That's one way to put it.
And Georgia gave up negative 3 yards of rushing from the Crimson Tide. It was an atrocious game, and I think a lot of Crimson Tide fans can agree that it definitely had them worried about what the future was going to hold with them going into the college football playoffs. And, of course, you hear what Greg McElroy said last week about Alabama possibly losing 28 to 21 points and still having a chance in just due to them moving up that one spot. And, I don't even know if it mattered that they moved up that one spot because it seemed like they would probably make it in if they were within that top 10 regardless. But, of course, Alabama does get in. They fall in as a number 9 seed. And as we look at what the college football playoffs hold, it's going to be a rematch against the Sooners this time in Oklahoma. So that should be a very fun matchup. Can the Sooners make it 3 in a row against the Crimson Tide, or will Alabama finally get that win, push forward to face off against the number 1 team in the country that is now the Indiana Hoosiers? Joe Hunk, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing great for a guy that forgot to take his Adderall today. So this show is about to be sponsored to you by Red Bull. I had to make a quick Red Bull run just a second ago. I forgot what regular Red Bull tastes like. The gas station I went to did not have any of the normal flavors that I'm rocking with. Man, going with a normal Red Bull is just kind of odd at some point in time. But yes, college football playoff is out. We have gotten that. We now know what the bracket is going to be looking like. And look, let's not like let this overshadow the fact, because I know that it can. Alabama got their tail handed to them on Saturday. There was never a point in that football game that you truly thought Alabama was going to come back against Georgia.
Yeah.
I know they made the college football playoff, and I know that's what everybody's wanting to focus on.
That's what it all matters. That's all that matters, Joe.
Let's be honest. Kirby took his belt off.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, he absolutely laid it to Alabama.
Yeah.
I mean, my wife, she and I were talking about it, and she kept asking me, because it was during the time that, we were all juggling kids doing things.
You probably shouldn't juggle the kids, but it's all right.
Well, there's one that's small enough you can juggle.
Okay.
And she goes, "This game's ugly, isn't it?" I said, "Oh no, it's worse than ugly." Like, the only reason I waited until after halftime to actually think that this was about to be a pure domination by Georgia was just because of the history that Alabama has against Georgia after halftime. That's the only reason. I'm watching this game going, dang, they're getting straight dominated.
Yeah.
Like, look,
14-0 isn't too big of a deal, but whenever that second half continued, and it did not look like an Alabama team that was even there to really, compete. That's whenever I was like, this might be bad. And I had to even think to myself, you know what? Is this a protest right now? Is this a protest by Kalen DeBoer to say, like, hey, we don't even have to really try in this game, but we can literally keep our bodies healthy for the playoffs moving forward? Because again, the committee said you cannot punish a team for making it to the conference championship game. Unless you're BYU.
Steve called me.
Yeah.
Steve Moulton called me after the basketball games, because he and Scott were in Valdosta, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And so Steve called me, and like, man, it's probably 9:30 or something Saturday night. He calls me, and he and I are talking, and he goes, "Look, we're leaving the arena right now. We were keeping up with the game as it was happening, but I was just keeping up with the stat line." And his first words to me was, he says, "I'm going to go home and watch it tonight before the Bama recap show on tomorrow morning. But was this game as bad as the stats look like it was?" And my first phrase to Steve was, Alabama does not deserve to be in the college football playoff.
I think a lot of people thought that in their heads.
That team that played on Saturday does not deserve to be in.
Yeah.
It was, and it was the only reason. I understand what the committee says. They're not going to use it against it. Obviously, they don't. But if you watch that team play on Saturday, like, I really wish this is where I want the committee live shot way more than what I want the actual show that we saw on Sunday and every Tuesday. Because I really want somebody to be sitting there in one of those chairs that they kept showing and going, "Guys, are we sure about this?
Yeah.
Are we really sure that Alabama's one of the 12 best teams right now?"
Yeah, because I want to imagine
we were sure.
What Hunter Yurachek was actually thinking whenever he saw the game live. And then, because we only get the after shot, like you said, Joe, and him having to explain himself to Reese Davis and explain the committee, it was kind of hard to watch. And obviously it's always going to be, because this is the last selection. So of course there's going to be some teams out, but this has got to be the most controversial of all playoff polls that we have seen. since the playoffs started this way after the BCS. But on top of that, it's just, for Alabama, this is just a terrible taste. I think that Alabama, the team before this game, deserves to be in. But obviously, looking at this game in Atlanta, this is a disgusting taste that's left in our mouths that we have to think about until they finally play this game against Oklahoma.
The way that when Moulton and I were talking on Saturday night, and I told him, I said, this was one of those Bama games that happens once every 3 or 4 years, where you just look and go, there is not one single thing is going right. I said the last time that I could probably think about, I really sat back and thought about this with an Alabama team. I was like, this was almost as a dominating performance that Georgia had as what you could say Clemson had in the national championship game.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was thinking too.
Seriously, you're sitting and going, this team can't do anything.
Yeah.
Like, they cannot do anything. Even when they scored, I was like, well, this doesn't matter. Like, it was, 21-7 at some point? I'm like, yeah, no, this still doesn't matter, because you could tell the difference between it. So I was one going in and saying, look, unless Alabama just gets absolutely destroyed in this game, they should be in. Like, yeah, they should be in.
I thought the same thing.
I was like, okay, cool. But then when I actually saw them on the field, I went, And
I don't even, and again, you think about, what exactly went wrong. Obviously, the running game has been atrocious all year long.
There's no running game.
Well, there's less than a running game there, by the way. -3 yards of a running game. But yeah, they have a little bit of success against an Auburn team that's kind of at the end of their season. Obviously, they give you a little bit of a challenge, but you go into this matchup and you're facing off against the team that isn't really supposed to be the best when it comes to the offensive line or the defensive line going up against you. It's mainly the secondary. But if that secondary is holding long enough and you try and get that running game going and it just does not happen, your quarterback's either getting sacked or your running game is getting just pushed back into the backfield. And, of course, that's why we see the -3 yards. That's the obvious thing. The next thing would be drop passes. There is a lot of times in this game where Ty Simpson was, yes, a little frantic, but he was able to get the ball to his wide receivers. They dropped the pass. I look at this Ohio State game versus Indiana, no drop passes. It was a beautiful game. It was very fun to watch as well. Low scoring, but still very fun to watch.
Oh, it was. I think this year and this Saturday night was the first time that I actually goes, okay, I've got to have two monitors on. Yeah. Like, I genuinely have.
Oh, so you could watch the ACC game and the Big Ten?
ACC game in that, because I was just watching the ACC game just for laughter. Mm-hmm. It was like watching Stranger Things on one side, where it's like just the most beautiful thing that you've ever seen, and then you're just watching some slapstick comedy on the other side, just going, this is absolutely hilarious, isn't it? Like, this is just so funny.
Two ACC teams fighting each other for not even a chance at the playoffs, and then, of course, Miami slides in.
Yeah, I mean, it was pure comedy, and I love the fact that Duke got in. I mean, Duke won the ACC championship. I love that JMU and Tulane got in. I love chaos, because I love that it makes you make a determination one way or the other. And that's the only reason I love it, is because now it's like, so what would you have done if this happened? Well, we're lucky we didn't have to deal with that, huh? Oh, no, you had to deal with every possible plan Z that you had to come up with. Mm-hmm. What happens if there are two G5 teams that are ranked above one of the A4s? Well, we'll find out.
It was a complete madness.
What happens if Miami and Notre Dame are close enough where you can actually have a conversation about who should be in and who should be out? Well, hopefully we don't have to deal with that. Nope, you did. What happens if Alabama plays horribly in the SEC championship game and you actually have to have a real discussion about if they should be dropping out of the college football playoff and you should be letting somebody else in? Well, we had that discussion, and then it was, all right, well, who's 8 or 9? Is it Oklahoma or Alabama? Nope. Head-to-head matters. So now Oklahoma gets a home game. Yeah. Like, all of the things that I would love to see, so that you have to make a determination of what message you're sending out, we got to see. Yeah. And I love it.
And I can't wait to hear your guys' opinions on it as well. 256-576. 97.7 is the number to get into the show. We will hop into those phone lines here in a second, but I do like to remind you that this show is presented by the wonderful people over at Fleming Roofing and Restoration, the guys you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs. And if you're having any roofing problems, make sure you look them up online at FlemingHSV.com to fill out your free quote today. And, of course, they show up. And you're going to need them because you want to rest assured knowing that your house is able to withstand the elements while you're watching all this college football come December 20th, 19th, and just the later in this month, which is going to be very fun. You talk about all the crazy excitement that is, JMU making it in and Tulane. I'll give it a few more weeks, and once those teams are out, it's going to be like they never even showed up, similar to last year with SMU, Boise State, and a few others. But regardless, we also have a Christmas party coming up, and it's going to be on December 16th. That is a Tuesday. It'll be over at Field Day, so you guys want to show up over there, you can. And, of course, it's to benefit the Make-A-Wish, not the Make-A-Wish Foundation, but the Toys for Tots Foundation. And, of course, you're making, a wish for some children. So I guess you could tie that in there, but they're completely different things. We got a lot of discussion to get into. We also got conversation with Andrew Bone from BamaOnline.com. He'll be joining us in the next segment. So let's get into those phone lines as we've got the Philip. Philip, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. So, look, maybe you guys are classier than the bozos before you. Understand me.
Okay.
You're promoting college football.
Yeah.
Good for you. I have no issue with that. I'm trying to get into it. I'm watching ESPN. They've spent maybe 10 minutes on college football so far this morning. The reason is it's unfair bullcrap. I am sick. The SEC is the best conference. I get it. You know why they are? Because you have 12 teams in the national championship of college football.
Yeah.
Yet 5 of those teams are from the SEC. You think the SEC might have a bit of advantage?
Well,
there might be. Hold on.
I'll let you finish.
Do you think there might be a little bit of advantage for the SEC that the best of the best of the best around the nation go to the SEC and play instead of in their home state because they have a better shot of making it to the NFL? And for the SEC to sit around and brag and, slap each other on the back about how they're the great. Well, duh. Yeah, you're the best. Nobody's not saying you aren't. But until college football gets a commissioner and stops the cupcake games, makes people play in to win, and have a legitimate playoff scenario, it's not a national championship. It's a South championship. It's what it's become. And I don't understand. I don't get it.
Hey, you got a team in it. You got a team in Virginia. I mean, James Madison.
Let me ask, what would be the best way to determine this in your mind?
Okay. Number one, apparently there's an argument between Tom and the bozos before you. Is there 4 conferences or 5?
There are 4 A4s.
I'm sorry.
There's an A4. They're called the 4 automatic conferences those are the A4s is what we call them now. There's like no Power 5 or Group of 5. It's now an A4.
Yeah, ACC, Big 12, Big 10, and SEC, and then you got the Group of 5 teams like James Madison and Tulane that make it in as well. So there's 6 conferences that are represented in this. That's the most that there's ever been. So there is a little bit of diversity there, but I do see what you're saying with all of these SEC teams. People like to think that it's SEC favored. Well, the sample size goes throughout the season. The nation is already on watch all season long. But at the end of the day, these are just the teams that have played the hardest schedules and that have gotten picked for it to be within the national title contention. So, I mean, you're still looking at a number 1 ranked Indiana team, a number 2 ranked Ohio State. You still got Oregon that's probably going to be favored in their next 2 games because they got Texas Tech after James Madison. And, you got a large majority of South teams. But, I mean, when is the South not been competitive in college football?
So, if there are 4 conferences, you got 5 spots. No conference gets more than 3 teams in the national championship playoff scenario. Because if you continue to do this, again, it's common freaking sense, guys. The best of the best of the best from around the nation will go to the SEC. It's atrocious that 5 out of 12 teams are in the SEC in the playoffs. God, dude, that's wrong. It's just wrong if you want to grow college football.
Okay,
if you don't, and you just want to stay in your little corner and go, we're the greatest in the world, and we're going to, pound our chest and say we're the best. Go for it. But that's why the nation, America, does not pay near as much attention to college football as they do the NFL, because it's a freaking joke.
All right,
that's all I'm saying. I'm saying clean up your act, not SEC clean up your act. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
I'm saying college football, clean up your act.
And we appreciate.
And thanks for that. We do have to get to AB.
And I see where he's coming from, Joe. I do with a lot of these southern teams that are
sadly, I've actually agree with a few of the things you said.
But I'll let you go ahead because you do agree.
Well,
with
I do agree. I do agree with the part about it does need a commissioner. It does need to, and they do need to grow
the flawed
the sport.
system. Yeah,
it's absolutely a flawed system. I do agree with a lot of that part of it. There were some other things that he probably said. Now, the biggest question that I would have, because he does say, hey, you're getting 5 teams in the system. Obviously, you had 5 automatic qualifiers, which 2 of those were now non-A4s. Outside of those 5, which means that there were 4 SEC teams that got in. Were there 4 other teams in the country that you could say were better than the 4 that got in? That's the only question I'm asking. And before you also say that this is nothing but the SEC and it's not an actual national championship, may want to look at the last 2 national champions and the teams that played in those games.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying that those were not a full SEC. Matter of fact, Notre Dame technically not in a conference. Ohio State, Big Ten. Michigan's a Big Ten. At the time, Washington was a Pac-12 team. So it is spread out. But the other thing is yes, the SEC does have a lot of players that do come to it because of the fact that the SEC also puts the most players in the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, would I much rather go to Rutgers because I'm from New York, or do I want to go and play in Florida because Miami and Florida State are getting players in the college or in the NFL more?
Yeah. And also you don't have to deal with all the snow.
And then there's the whole weather factor as a part of this as well, which, I mean, really, if you think about it, majority of college football is not played in cold weather outside of the last 2 or 3 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
I mean, none of high school football in the state of Alabama has ever really played in it. I mean, you and I were in short sleeves for the playoff game.
Yeah, we were.
I mean, it wasn't even that,
there's fantastic.
It's not even really cold. So it was cool in Florence for the last week of the regular season, but that was it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more, there are a lot of factors to it, but I do agree on some things that he did say, and I hate myself for even saying that. But yeah, there's some things with him I do agree. I don't think that there should be a set number.
No, yeah.
Because if you look at the NFL, all 4 teams in a division can actually make it into the NFL playoff if they have the record.
Yeah, you don't want to close yourself off to any more rules, which the college football bracket already has plenty of. But we do want to get to the phone lines, but we do have to get to our next guest, and that is going to be Andrew Bone. He is with BamaOnline.com. So you guys hold tight on the phone lines. We will get to you. But when we come back, we're going down to Tuscaloosa to talk about the Crimson Tide as they get into the college football playoffs here on the Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, ESPN Winchester, and WZZN TV.
Joe Hunk, John Abraham, 256-576-4977. This is the Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The crimson and white jerseys.
Front court to the rack and the flood.
The sound of a buzzer beater.
Got it to go as the buzzer sounds.
The Roll Tide chant from the crowd. It can only be Alabama basketball. Join the Alabama Crimson Tide right here on your home for Alabama basketball.
Listen to Alabama basketball all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at the service department at Woody Anderson Ford. When you need service on your vehicle, whether it's a Ford or any other make, you want to get into Woody Anderson Ford where their expert service technicians will get it diagnosed and repaired right away, the right way. And while you are there, check out all the new and pre-owned vehicles at Woody Anderson as well. They are ready to make you the best deal possible. Visit Woody Anderson Ford today.
Woody Anderson Ford on Jordan Lane in Huntsville, Hughes Road in Madison, and online at WoodyAndersonFord.com.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. I know your accident is the real thing, and they happen to real people.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. There's a lot of talk right now about bigger, but when you've had a wreck, is bigger better?
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. Do you want to be just a case number?
With offices in Huntsville and Scottsboro, we take the time to help.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This is Bill Crawford with Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff. I've recently had a stem cell procedure on my right knee from Dr. Charles Lee of Regenesis. Stem cells are harvested from your body and re-administered back into your body. This approach is painless, quick, and requires no lengthy rehab. My knee feels better already. Regenesis is located at 4025 Pepperwood Circle Southwest, Suite C, Huntsville, Alabama. Call 256-715-8193 or Google their website for more information.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
I'm here with Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. With the temperatures going up, now is a good time to get your heating and air system looked at. Thomas, when somebody calls, you guys answer.
That's right. The phones are staffed by us. They're manned 24/7. We're ready to come out and take care of you that day.
How do they give you guys a call?
You give us a call at 256-503-4490.
And you can find you guys on the World Wide Web at
talenthvac.com.
And now is a good time to do this because you guys are offering a special deal.
That's right. We're doing $49 tune-ups this spring. We're also doing free second opinions. We offer that year-round. Somebody comes out, they say you got a bag compressor or leaking refrigerant. Give us a call, see if we can save you some money.
Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. Thomas, one more time, that phone number.
256-503-4490. AL certain number 21014.
Your Fox 54 weather.
I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen. Partly sunshine expected for this Monday. We'll see high temperatures only warm into the mid and upper 40s for the afternoon. Heading into Monday night, we drop below freezing. Upper 20s expected for the overnight. We'll continue to sit under a partly cloudy sky.
Your Fox 54 weather. Only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I mean, it don't matter.
Welcome back into the Blitz here on this Madhouse Monday, this very hectic Monday where it seems like we're all drinking from a fire hydrant with all of the stories, all the news, and all the controversy coming in from all types of sports.
And why am I having to be the one that defends Phillip? Because I don't want to defend him. Like, I don't. Literally, like 99.9% of the things a man ever says on the air makes me roll my eyes and I disagree with. Like, I do. I hate the fact that there was a couple things in there that I actually agreed with because I'm looking at our comments and I'm looking at all this.
Yeah.
Hang up on this fool. He's already said this stuff to Drew. He's a moron. We can't help the SEC. He's good. Look, I don't disagree. But there's also some things in there with him that I do agree with.
No.
I do agree with the way that the playoff system needs to be restructured and stuff kind of needs to make sense a little bit more. I'm also a huge fan of Big Brother, and I'm the one that wants a 24-hour cam on these guys while they're voting. I want to hear everything. I wish, look, if I could have had it on Saturday, I would have had one camera on the Bama game, one camera on the committee watching, and then when the other games were taking place, I'd have a third camera there.
Yeah.
I wanted to know what they were saying or talking or doing something, because that to me is way more interesting than the product that we get on a Tuesday night or even Sunday.
Yeah, and also I've seen pictures of their little setup that they got in that hotel room, and I'm just like, this has got to be one of the worst setups you could probably have.
Man.
I mean, come on, just have one big TV with like 8 different games on it. They have to be able to throw a little bit of money towards the committee to where they can watch it the best way possible.
They're 80-year-old men, man. They need their glasses are a little bit thicker. They need to be able to watch it all. They got to have a bigger television. The remote's got to be a little bit bigger.
They should all just have personal TVs. I don't know. That's not what we're going to be conversating about.
Those youngins trying to get all that stuff coming. What happened to the days when I could just turn it on one channel?
Jeez.
No, that's what's going to be said.
Yeah. But we had an interesting time seeing what the committee was going to do with the Crimson Tide after their pretty much blowout loss to Georgia in Atlanta. And joining us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline is a guy that is glad that they got in, but also might be thinking some of the same things. And that is Andrew Bone from BamaOnline.com as he joins us to talk a little bit of the Crimson Tide. Andrew, how you doing today, man?
Hey, guys. Doing great. How we doing?
Doing well. And John, I didn't mean to hit you there, but you mentioned something about Andrew, about the way that he probably felt after the game.
Yeah.
When you were leaving Mercedes-Benz on Saturday, what were you thinking about what would happen over the next 24 hours?
Well, yeah, I actually wasn't there.
Well, that was smart. Save some gas on something, on having to watch that in person.
Right. My daughter was sick. We had a few of our other guys there, but I was watching, pretty closely, throughout the game, obviously. But, it was a little bit shocking, just kind of disappointed with the way, Alabama looked, throughout the game. You had, I think I counted 8 possessions on offense where Alabama I think they had 5 or less plays on 8 of their 12 possessions throughout the game. I mean, the offense just couldn't do anything. I thought Kirby Smart and Glenn Schumann did a fantastic job, and really they have ever since halftime of the game in Athens. Alabama's only scored 7 points against Georgia over the course of the last 6 quarters. So they've kind of had Alabama's number on the defense side of the ball. So I was really surprised that Alabama couldn't move the ball. Obviously, there were some injuries there, but Georgia's defense played lights out. They were fast. They were aggressive. They were certainly hungry. I thought after Alabama scored that touchdown in the start of the fourth quarter, I thought maybe they can get back in this thing, but at least keep it close. So you have a 21-14 game. It looks a little bit better than a 28-7. But they took some risk, didn't work out. I thought that 4th and 2 in the fourth quarter that they went for on their 12-yard line, obviously a big risk there. Didn't hate it. I know a lot of Alabama fans did. People were questioning it with 8 minutes to go in the game and Alabama's defense playing extremely well. But, I think they probably just looked at the numbers and, Georgia, they get a couple first downs. It's going to be really tough to get back into the game. And I think Kalen DeBoer was hoping that they could get the first down and could make it a game, and not just make it a game, but try to win the game. I don't think he was trying to keep, just try to keep it a close score at all. So he took a risk there, and they end up stopping them, go up 28-7. And, it looks a lot uglier than, at least for the committee and the rest of the country when the game's over and you're, trying to lobby, who's going to make it to the college football playoff. But, obviously the game didn't really matter because Alabama didn't move one single spot, which was surprising. I thought they would be in that 10th spot or potentially not in at all, but they didn't move them, and now they get the chance to regroup, try to figure out what all the issues are. Don't do the same things that they did on Saturday night. But I do think the game could have been a little bit closer at the end, but Georgia dominated that game essentially from start to finish, and got to give them a lot of credit.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And of course, they're going to be sitting in that playoff bracket at number 3. But looking at Alabama, a lot of their problems came from just having lack of talent on the field. I mean, I get it. This is an Alabama team, and lack of talent does not really fit, but there were a lot of injuries. Josh Cuevas, who's looked really good in that tight end position. Jam Miller, of course, out. Even worse news for the running game, and he wasn't the only one out in the backfield. And then as well as a few offensive linemen and a few key defensive players as well. How many of these injuries are going to linger into the later half of the month? And who might we see come back to face off against Oklahoma?
I think they're really optimistic on Jam Miller getting back, getting healthy. And you got to remember, there's some guys on the offensive front right now that are banged up that did play. Parker Brailsford, not 100%. Cam Dewberry didn't even play in the game. That was an injury that popped up against Auburn, so he didn't play. I think you're gonna see both of those guys, really at back to 100% by them. Jam back to 100%. I think you're obviously waiting to kind of see the news on Cuevas because he's just been such a instrumental part of the offense, especially in the SEC schedule. I mean, when Alabama needed a big play, it seemed like they went to him to make that play. Whether it be a third down conversion, fourth down conversion, touchdown late in the game. We saw the 2-point conversion against South Carolina. I think that he's been such a just a trusted offensive playmaker for Ty Simpson throughout the back half of the season. So if you can get him back, you got a little bit more confidence out there at the tight end position. So I think on the defensive side of the ball, you're kind of just waiting to see some things that are going to happen with LT Overton. I think obviously he was a big loss. He would be a big addition back to the team. Don't know, really if that's going to take place or not. Kalen DeBoer, hasn't really said what's going on, but has mentioned that it's an illness. Is that something that's going to keep him from missing the entire playoff, or just missing the Oklahoma game, and if they win, will that continue? You just have to kind of wait and see. But I do think we're going to see, the majority of those players get back and be ready for the trip to Norman next week.
Andrew Bone from BamaOnline.com is our guest on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. And, of course, a lot of conversation around Ty Simpson as well. At one point, he was looking like a front runner for the Heisman Trophy. And now at this point in the season, a lot of people kind of forget him in that conversation. What do you think is actually going on? Do you think it's just the lack of offensive line help? Or do you think that, it was a little bit of the starting off the season, not a lot of people got tape on you, and now more tape is out there. They kind of know what this Alabama team's pretty much going to do every single time. Or is it just, maybe a little fall off at the end of the season? What are your opinions on Ty Simpson at this moment?
Well, I think it's been a mixture of a lot of different things that have just kind of added up. And, it kind of goes the same with the offensive front when, a lot of people were complaining about the offensive line or the running backs. Wide receivers. I mean, it's the whole offensive unit that I think everybody's got to be on the same page, to make that unit, be as good as it can possibly be. And it just hasn't been that way. You have running backs that are missing assignments. AK Deer the other night, missed an assignment, and Ty Simpson had to take a dive onto the ground for a 5 or 6 yard loss. You're having guys that are missing blocks. You have wide receivers that are not getting open quick enough, or being a little late, or dropping balls. Ty's missing passes as well. He's throwing some balls into the dirt that could have been easy routine plays. I still think he's the starting quarterback at Alabama. I think Alabama still has a lot of trust in him as being the guy, and that's why you haven't really seen any change there at the position. But I wrote about it yesterday, after the game in my SEC championship game grades, that if you're going to continue to have these issues on offense where you're not being able to move the ball, and you continue to have these 3 and outs, and just nothing's really working, you might have to give Keelan Russell or Austin Mack, an opportunity. And I'm not saying that it's because they're better than Ty. I'm just saying maybe it gives the team maybe a little bit more energy. It gives them a little bit more urgency. And, you kind of see, all right, this isn't going well. We're going to put in a new quarterback, see if, anything changes. And maybe it doesn't. Maybe it looks worse. Nobody knows that. So I think you travel to Norman next week. You have those same, issues in the first half. You might have to see, if you can get the ball rolling in another direction. So, like I said, I think it's just a mixture of a lot of different things. I don't think it's all on Ty. I do think, a lot of things are on Ty, but and I think he'll take the blame for it. But also think that everybody on that offensive side of the ball, can be better, from the tight end blocking to running back blocking, to offensive line, and everybody blames the offensive line. I've seen a lot of holes that have been wide open that don't get hit in a lot of different games, and I've seen Ty hold the ball a little bit longer when he's had some time to throw, but I've also seen a lot of pressure that's been put on him because the offensive line hasn't been able to hold up. So offense just hasn't been great. They've been able to get the job done in a lot of these games late in the game, in games that your defense is providing you a lot of opportunities to put the game away. Whether that's early or late, you could have a 2 or 3 touchdown lead, but the offense just can't do anything, and that's been that's been an issue. But against Georgia, they could not figure out a way to come back and win the game, as we've seen them do against, I don't want to say lesser opponents, but teams that they were heavily favored to, or at least favored to beat.
I know it's not asinine, and we've all remembered a time or two where Alabama has actually went to the backup quarterback in a big game, SEC championship, national championship. We know that Nick Saban has done this,
and it worked.
But we haven't seen this from Kalen DeBoer, and so I know a lot of people are driving around and going, "I'm sorry, what did he say again?" Because Ty Simpson is kind of like that Jalen Hurts, where he's done everything that you've asked him to do, except he's had a couple of games where he has struggled. So against Oklahoma and Norman, would it be good to go to somebody like an Austin Mack on the road in that environment in a college football playoff? Because again, this is a different thing than going to a neutral site game. Is that so? But that's why I asked that question, because you did mention about potentially wanting to look at a backup if the offense continues to kind of sputter.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that would be a very, very difficult thing to do, and I don't think Alabama wants to do that at all. I think that they've seen what Ty can do in these big, road game settings. Been able to, lead the team back to victories and stuff like that. But I don't think they want to go to Austin Mack or Keelan Russell unless they absolutely have to. So I do think that, the perception is he won't pull the starting quarterback because he didn't last year when things were going, really south, especially in Oklahoma last year. But you just kind of have to wait and see. I mean, it's been a struggle it almost seems like the last month on the offensive side of the ball. And this is kind of a do or die time. You either, get the ball moving down the field, with your offense, or you're going to lose the game. You're going to look, just as bad as you did. Yeah. This past weekend, if you can't you can't figure out a way to score. So if they can't figure out a way to score, with Ty out there on the field, maybe you go to somebody else, even in that type of environment. So I think we'll see kind of where they are after the first half. I don't think it's going to be one of those, hey, you better look good in the first quarter or you're getting yanked type of situations, because it is going to be a loud, hostile environment, and that's the case for any team in the college football playoffs. But playing against one of the best teams, defensive teams in the country on the road, you can expect that might be pretty tough. In that, at least in that first quarter, you got to get the ball moving and see what you can do. But by halftime, if you have 4 or 5 drives that just aren't going anywhere, like we saw this past weekend, I think there's going to be a real conversation at halftime.
No doubt about that. Andrew Bone from BamaOnline.com has been our guest. You guys could look forward to December 19th at 7 p.m. Central Time is when this game's going to be going down. And, of course, we will be covering it here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. But before we get you out of here, AB, I want to talk about a guy with the name EJ, and that is EJ Crowell. Of course, a lot of state championships going on here in the state of Alabama. You follow a lot of the recruiting trail. How talented is this kid, and who does he maybe remind you of when it comes down to all of the greats that we've seen come out of the backfield for Alabama in the past?
Well, I mean, he's certainly a fantastic back. I mean, one of the highest rated running backs that we've seen in the state of Alabama in quite some time. I mean, one of the true elite players in the country. I mean, this kid who's 5'10.5", 215 pounds, very physical runner, athletic, can move. Had 303 yards rushing in the state championship game. This past weekend, I guess it was on Thursday. Yeah. I mean, he's just he's a special talent. I think the fact that you're going to see him arrive in Tuscaloosa, here in a few weeks, I guess less than 4 weeks, is certainly going to be beneficial for him getting in, early in that system. I always kind of want to wait to see how these guys develop. I mean, they are freshmen. They are coming from high school into one of the top college football programs in the country, where there is, a lot of other guys that are there competing and hoping to earn playing time. You also don't know, what Alabama might end up doing in the portal, who ends up potentially leaving Alabama. So I think you have to just kind of wait and see, what the team looks like here in the spring, and how he looks in the spring to really know, how big of an impact he's going to make early in his career in Tuscaloosa. But I think everybody's very excited about him. He's certainly a big target for so many schools, especially programs like Texas and Georgia and Auburn, obviously Alabama, and they were able to keep him in state. So that was a really big recruiting win for them. You hope to see him have a lot of opportunities here in the future, and not just 4 or 5 carries in a game. But I think he's certainly a special back that can be a really good player in Tuscaloosa one day.
No doubt about it. You can read all about it over at BamaOnline.com. It is Andrew Bone. You can also find him on X at Andrew J. Bone. Andrew, we appreciate it as always, brother. Hope you have a wonderful week, and looking forward to the holidays.
All right, guys, you do the same. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, AB.
As always, Andrew Bone. He's got a lot of recruiting articles out there and talking about.
Yeah, because National Signing Day happened last week.
Yeah, it did.
It's
a pretty big deal.
Well,
it's over now.
Is it?
It's over now.
Yeah, it just kind of flew under the radar.
When you're getting a guy that could score 5 touchdowns, 304 yards in a championship game like EJ Crowell was able to do, I think it's a pretty big deal. But of course, it's just kind of overshadowed. But there's a lot more recruiting news following Alabama, and you can find it all on Bama Online.
There's also some news transfer portal-wise, because now we're getting into the part of the year where players are starting to let us know if they're going to enter the transfer portal coming up on January 2nd. One big name has already announced just a little while ago that he is going to be entering the portal, and a Texas Longhorn has announced he's going to be entering the portal as well. We'll let you know who those are when we come back on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, WZZN TV, ESPN Winchester, and the Blitz.
Phone lines are open now. 256-576-4977. This is The Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
Alabama Crimson Tide will take on Oklahoma at Memorial Stadium in Norman on December the 19th in the first round of the college football playoff. The Crimson Tide 25-1 to win the national title, a 1.5 favorite to beat Oklahoma with a total of 41.5. The winner moves on to meet Indiana in the Rose Bowl. The Hoosiers are plus 250, the second choice behind the favorite Ohio State Buckeyes to win the national title. The Buckeyes are plus 240. Troy and Jacksonville State meet in the Salute to Veterans Bowl, the Crampton Bowl in Montgomery, Alabama on Tuesday, December the 16th. Troy, the 3-point favorite over the Gamecocks, 51.5 the total. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Need tough equipment you can count on? Christopher Equipment has you covered. Whether it's air compressors, trenchers, bucket lifts, concrete tools, generators, skid steers, and more. Serving you with locations in Tullahoma, Shelbyville, Manchester, Fayetteville, and Hazel Green. Christopher Equipment. From job site to backyard, rent or buy, Christopher Equipment delivers the tools you need when you need them. Call 931-455-3900 or visit Christopher.equipment today. Christopher Equipment, powering your project.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Your customers deserve the best, and so do you. You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loader from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best, and this machine has it all. With features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. And with our Workhorse Special promotion, that new 255 CTL is just $73,655, but it's only good through December 31st. Prices increase in January, so lock in your savings now and take advantage of year-end tax benefits to maximize your investment. Don't wait. The best time to buy that new Cat 255 is today. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor, we're here for you.
The holidays are here, and so is the holiday pizzazz at Loring & Company Fine Jewelers. At Loring & Company, they know this season is all about family, time, and meaningful connections. And when it comes to finding that perfect gift, they make it easy, enjoyable, and unforgettable. Step into a sparkling world of the world's most desired jewelry brands, all in one place. Their friendly, experienced staff is ready to help you discover something extraordinary. Whether you're shopping for a spouse, a parent, a child, or treating yourself to a little festive shine, finding the right gift doesn't have to be stressful. At Loring & Company Fine Jewelers, it's a pleasure. They'll help you choose a piece that says exactly what you want it to say, beautifully. This holiday season, let the Loring family welcome you into theirs. Visit Loring & Company Fine Jewelers at 800 Airport Road in Huntsville and shop anytime at loringjewelers.com. Add a little holiday pizzazz to your celebrations at Loring & Company Fine Jewelers.
The Blitz with Joe Hunk and John Abraham. Weekday morning starting at 9 a.m. on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hello and welcome back into the Blitz. As we get closer and closer to the holidays, you guys are going to be stressing to get some stocking stuffers. We'll just head on over to 977ESPN.com, tap on the Big Zone Deals link, and you will be amazed as we have several amazing locations for you guys to get half-off deals at. And that includes plenty of places like Full Moon Barbecue, Carrabba's, Corleo's. That already hits 3 of the bases from all around the world. So make sure you guys check it out today and make sure you guys aren't caught this Christmas season with your pants down. You definitely don't want to be – don't do that.
Yeah, you don't want your pants down unless it's somebody that you really trust.
Yeah.
It's really bad then.
Santa doesn't – whenever he's dropping off presents, that's why he's got that big belt that he's got wrapping up his pants, and they never fall down.
You know what I really appreciate with Santa, by the way?
What's that?
How through time he has evolved, and how Santa now utilizes parents and allows parents to communicate with him over the course of those weeks leading up to Christmas.
Yeah, that's what the letters are for. And now he does email too.
Yeah, he does. And so now I just appreciate the fact that we can now get in contact with him quickly, just in case a kid is not good enough for present A.
Yeah.
They may have only been a C student all year, a C kid all year, still passing.
Yeah.
But, they don't deserve the A gift for a C kid.
Yeah.
And so how you can explain, to Santa that whenever your son or your daughter goes up and tells them what they want for Christmas, be like, yes, Santa, actually, I wouldn't worry about that number 1 thing. I'd probably just go for number 2 on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's not worried. I appreciate that from Santa.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that we can communicate with him as parents, and we let our kids know that we can communicate with him as parents and be like, look, man, if you're not going to sleep and you're wanting to fight me about all this the whole time, like I can shoot off an email real quick. Again, he's email's almost always open.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's better than the football committee when it comes down to that. I think that what also you were trying to get at right there?
I also have more faith in Santa than what I do the playoff committee, because we all know that Santa is way more reliable at times in this, just kind of like the transfer portal is reliable. Because it is official, at least as official it can be before January 2nd. Arizona State quarterback Sam Leavitt is going to enter the transfer portal. He only played in 7 games this year because of injury, but 60.7% completion percentage, over 1,600 yards passing, 10 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions through those 7 games. So he is going to be a quarterback that is going to be looked at heavily. Texas Longhorns are going to be losing one of their backup quarterbacks, and their number 2 running back, CJ Baxter, has said he's going to be entering the transfer portal as well.
Also, did you see Jackson Arnold, Auburn great, going to be transferring out too?
I was hoping he transferred out last year. Actually, I hope he transferred somewhere differently 2 years ago.
Seemed like he did, because it seemed like there was no quarterback on the field.
No, he transferred in. His talent didn't just transfer in with him. That's he didn't go to Oklahoma either.
Wide open second half.
Joe Hunk, John Abraham. You can watch the Blitz live now on X at 97.7 ESPN.
Tide fans.
Here comes the Tide.
Let's go.
And 1 for the win. Ball game. Bama wins.
Grab your hard hats and tune in for blue-collar basketball with the Crimson Tide all season long on your home for Alabama basketball.
Listen to Alabama basketball all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Does it really matter which dealership you buy from? Short answer, yes it does. Hello, I'm Don Wessels for Woody Anderson Ford. Before you buy, take just a minute to check out the dealership itself, because where you buy can make all the difference. Sure, customer reviews tell you what others think, and that's good. But when Ford Motor Company itself recognizes a dealer, that's something special. Woody Anderson Ford has earned Ford's Triple Crown Award, an honor achieved by only the top 1% of Ford dealers in America. It's based on superior customer satisfaction, sales excellence, and exceptional service performance. In other words, the best of the best. So when you're ready for your next car, truck, or SUV, come see how we earned our Triple Crown status. Superior service, sales excellence, over-the-top delivery, that's Woody Anderson Ford. And we hope to see you soon.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title. Because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal, and we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beebs likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
Alabama Crimson Tide will take on Oklahoma at Memorial Stadium in Norman on December the 19th in the first round of the college football playoff. The Crimson Tide 25-1 to win the national title, a 1.5 favorite to beat Oklahoma with a total of 41.5. The winner moves on to meet Indiana in the Rose Bowl. The Hoosiers are plus 250, the second choice behind the favorite Ohio State Buckeyes to win the national title. The Buckeyes are plus 240. Troy and Jacksonville State meet in the Salute to Veterans Bowl, the Crampton Bowl in Montgomery, Alabama on Tuesday, December the 16th. Troy, the 3-point favorite over the Gamecocks, 51.5 the total. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Your Fox 54 weather.
I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen. Temperatures fall to below freezing for this Monday night. We'll see lows fall into the upper 20s for the overnight. Heading into our Tuesday, we warm into the low 50s for the afternoon. Expect to see plenty of sunshine. Tuesday night, temperatures a little warmer, mid-30s. Will continue a clear sky.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Log on today, 97.7ESPN.com. Joe Hunk, John Abraham, 256-576-4977. Welcome to the Blitz.
All right, here we go. Second hour, final hour, best hour. 97.7 ESPN The Zone and the Blitz. Joe Hunk, John Abraham. Yeah. Make sure to go and watch us on WZZN TV, whether it is on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, or if you're still listening in ESPN Winchester, courtesy of the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app.
It's free.
It is free, and that's where you're going to get Monday Night Football tonight. You'll get Thursday Night Football next week as well, or I should say on Thursday, and you'll also get both UAH homestands at games, as they're going to be hosting Trevecca on Thursday and Lee on Saturday. As those games going to be taking place, you'll be able to listen to those on the family of networks on 97.7 ESPN. The Zone college football playoff is going to be coming up, obviously, with the bracket now out, which a lot of questions, obviously, with the bracket. We've been taking phone calls at 256-576-977, as we have a couple of phone lines open to you right now that you can get on. But obviously, John, this is always courtesy of one amazing roofing company.
Yeah, Fleming Roofing and Restoration. I forgot. I didn't know if you forgot the name or something like that. That would have been crazy if you did, because I say it every single day. But Fleming Roofing and Restoration, the guys you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs. And if you're having roofing problems, just look them up online. FlemingHSV.com is the place to find them. And they always show up, similar to you guys, in the chat over on WZZN TV or on the phone lines. And I want to get to Jake because he's been waiting for a minute very patiently. And Jake, how you doing today, man?
Good morning, guys. How y'all doing?
Doing good, sir. How about you?
Man, I'm doing well, man. I didn't do too good on my picks this weekend, but yeah.
I don't even remember what my pick was.
I locked in, and I got all of them right except for Duke, Virginia.
You did.
Which one did I pick?
Hey, you can tell your daddy too. I said that. So you are the wise young. What was you calling you?
Grasshopper. Yeah, he calls it the
grasshopper. The wise young grasshopper. That's it. Anyway, look, I wanted to tell y'all. Did y'all watch Kroll? Did y'all watch any of that?
Of which game?
The high school kid.
Oh, the high school.
Oh yeah, that kid is absolutely insane, but also testament to his blockers.
Bro, y'all can go to YouTube. They have a thing on there where it just does a condensed highlight version of it. Bro, he is sick, dude. And I tried to think a while ago when y'all said who he reminds. I can't even think of who he reminds me of. Almost like the David Palmer. Do y'all remember David Palmer?
I do.
Roy Upchurch type build. But the dude is like a man amongst boys. Derrick Henry just, ish with his stiff arms. Just it's ridiculous, man. He was actually high-fiving and giving the opponents, because this is in a championship game. This wasn't just a region game of somebody that. This was Anderson Bulldog high school championship game, and they looked like Alabama playing Anderson. I wanted to get y'all. People's got to check him out. But look, I said the same thing this morning about the QB situation. What is wrong with that, guys? We have a depth. We have multi-quarterback. You're going to struggle. I don't understand what the big deal is about throwing Keyline in there, even if it's just for a series. Austin Mack, just for a series. And I know you can get out of rhythm, but Ty wasn't in any kind of rhythm the entire game.
No, yeah.
So he wasn't going to get out of anything.
And in this game as well, when you're down by, a couple of scores and it's not looking likely going into the fourth, you want to try and see if you can give your offense a jolt, and maybe it does come in switching your quarterback. I thought Ty Simpson actually played a decent game. I think a lot of those the incomplete passes actually came from drops. There was one in the back of the end zone, and then on top of that, the one that hit Ryan Williams' hands, and it just kind of went right through it. There were multiple that it really was up to the wide receivers to just catch the ball, stay focused. But of course, that did not happen, and it led to a lot of the short drives, and two of those came in the end zone. So, although Ty Simpson at times looked like he was flustered, he was running like a madman trying to get away from that defensive line from the Bulldogs. He was still able to get most of those passes off. But I see what you're saying, man. It has been some shaky play as of late, but believe it or not, he's still above probably the Heisman winner, somebody who I think should win the Heisman, in Diego Pavia when it comes to his stats throwing the ball.
That's my Heisman pick too, by the way. Yeah. Look, and you could have had Johnny Unitas. You could have had Randall Cunningham. Well, Randall Cunningham, that's what I was trying to get at. But you could have anybody back there, and I don't think they would have got away. Our offensive line, guys, it is suspect, and it's been suspect, and it's not getting any better. And I know Dewberry was out, but Dewberry ain't been out all season. No. That's what we need to be working on and harping on. Because I don't think anybody's going to be able to do anything. Cam Ward might have been able to get out of the pocket, but Ty's not Cam Ward, y'all, and we shouldn't expect him to be. But I'm not saying that any of that was his fault or anybody could have done better, but maybe somebody could have one screen pass or one something, because they wasn't expecting this, or just a little jolt, and then put Ty back in there. I don't see what's wrong with that. everybody said, "Oh, Ty's going to hurt his feelings." I think Ty would have been right there for it because, Lord, he was running, like you said, the whole entire game.
No. And a lot of guys don't want to try and switch up their quarterbacks because obviously, you don't want to throw in a guy just randomly inside of a big game against a tough opponent like the Georgia Bulldogs. I mean, Austin Mack has no idea, what that team's going to bring him compared to like a Mercer or Northern Illinois. And the same could be said for Keelan Russell. You don't want to get him in there and then get him hit and hurt. That almost happened to Gunnar Stockton last year. I mean, and he had to come in. And then he almost got his head taken off, because he's making decisions that he can make against those smaller opponents, but he's doing it against a top-ranked team. So, you don't want to see that.
I'm hoping. You're right. I'm hoping though we can just get a little rest. We can get some peace of mind. Something. I don't know what we need, but we've got to get our minds. Hey, we look like the Bad News Bears out there Saturday.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that. Appreciate you calling in, Jake.
All right, fellas.
Always great. Yeah, I mean, he makes a point. At the end of that game, at some point in that game, you'd think maybe we would see a quarterback switch. Kalen DeBoer he's not one of those guys that will do it, though. And also, Nick Saban wasn't that type of guy either. He's not going to switch out his quarterback that he's trusted in all season long for another guy unless he gets injured. And that's what we saw whenever it came to Tua and Jalen Hurts. That was the sequence of events that happened back then, but hopefully the Crimson Tide are able to bring in some more key pieces on that offensive line because the talent around them, I think, is all there, even at the running back room, believe it or not.
Well, I think that a lot of it, you're not going to want to put him in until you start talking about the timing and all that sort of stuff, because I think a lot of this has to do with continuality when you're talking about your offensive play calling with the timing routes and things along those lines, knowing where a quarterback was most likely going to throw you the football in certain routes. There's a lot of prep that does need to go into that. Now, again, you look at what happened against Georgia both times that Alabama made those decisions. Their back was up against the wall and they had to. Alabama was getting dominated in the national championship and they had to. And it wasn't just the fact that they brought two in. Let's not forget they had multiple freshmen on that team because that's who Tua had been practicing with that went in at the exact same time, because that was part of what it was. He had that comfort level with those players, skill position wise. Then you could also look at the national champion or the SEC championship. There was an injury in that one. And that's the reason why Jalen had to come in and back up Tua there. So you've had both in those scenarios. That's the only part that I worry about. And you also have to think about mental toughness at this point in time, because yes, we've seen the College Game Day video about, him talking about mental toughness and everything and so forth. But at the same time, it's a whole different animal. And throwing Austin Mack in a college football playoff game in Oklahoma when the season is on the line, that's a lot of pressure. And he may be up for it. And it could have another one of those 2nd and 26 moments. He absolutely could. But there's a lot of questions that could kind of come into you potentially doing that. And at the same time, there's a lot of questions that we also have with this college football playoff committee and the decisions that were made in there. Because, we look at, I think it was maybe a week or so ago, we said, Sunday morning, Monday morning, we're going to sit and we're going to go, okay, what message did the college football playoff committee send with this bracket? Because now you have athletic directors, you have coaches, you have everybody that starts looking at what they are doing as a program based on what happened yesterday at 11:30.
Yeah. And a lot of it is going to come down to making the conference championship if you are a top 4 team or just playing good enough football within the SEC. I mean, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Oklahoma, all those guys sitting at home, not doing much anything except for watching these football games similar to me and you, Joe. Why aren't we in the college football playoff? Well, they played really good football all season long, but it will, that's where I do, think that it comes into play, the committee needing to be a little bit more transparent with this, because one team was sitting at home similar to an ACC team that was sitting at home in the form of Miami and Notre Dame. And of course, Notre Dame gets the cut. They get chopped off. And I think that this is an interesting thing that's going to happen, Joe, because this is the committee pretty much, I don't want to say, I think they're sending a little bit of a message, because this is a Notre Dame team that's not in a conference. It wouldn't have meant that there's more conference teams in. And now that they put Miami in, there's still that help with the ACC. So now you have 6 conferences instead of 5 conferences, and a Notre Dame team that's been able to get in for the last several years.
Well, there's two things that I noticed straight off the bat when it does come to it. When you were talking about the Notre Dame, as they held the word and they continued to say that, if it gets to a point where they have to look at the head-to-head between Miami and Notre Dame, that was going to be a factor. It's exactly the same way whenever we were talking about tiebreakers and do talk about tiebreakers a lot when it comes to, if we get down to line D and this is going to come into play, well, then absolutely this is going to be what direction we are going to go. Yeah. I think that with Alabama, the same thing obviously happened with the Alabama-Oklahoma game, is that you said, okay, well, if we're saying Alabama is one of the 12 best teams, or in this case, it was already 5, so 7 best teams that deserve to be in, and Oklahoma is as well. Well, if they're this close, then the head-to-head is going to have to matter at some point in time, because that's going to determine, are they playing this game in Tuscaloosa or are they playing this game in Norman? Okay, well, you can't punish Oklahoma for doing what they did and winning by sending them back to Tuscaloosa where they just defeated Alabama in the head-to-head.
But Hunter Yurachek said this to Reese Davis just yesterday morning.
Yeah, it's yesterday morning at 11 a.m.
And he straight up said, we did not have to compare Miami and Notre Dame against each other because they haven't been right next to each other in the polls, because BYU was in between them as well as an Alabama team. How do you go 3 weeks, 4 weeks, seeing Notre Dame and Miami, and Notre Dame above Miami, and not think to yourself, we should probably put them together and see if we should maybe put one over the other before we continue on through this week and through this process, and then totally just take the rug out from under a Notre Dame team that was ranked 2 spots higher than Miami.
Well, that's also the reason why I would love to hear the conversation inside the room, because in all reality, I would also love to hear about how much, if any, Vanderbilt was discussed.
Yeah.
Because, and the only reason I say it, not because, we want Vanderbilt.
We need 7 teams.
Exactly. Not because of that, but because you look at the record compared to an Alabama team, then the head-to-head would have mattered there as well, which Alabama won. Yeah. And so did that play into Alabama getting in? And was there more of a discussion about a Vanderbilt, or did they compare Alabama and Vanderbilt in record, and they say, yeah, but Alabama made the SEC championship game, which automatically put them in front of a Vanderbilt? I'm curious about those conversations, because that is what determines the way that I look at it. Is if the end goal is to, as long as we make it to the college football playoff, that means that we have to make it to at least the SEC championship game. Yeah. All right, then at least I know where my line is of what I have to do. Just being 10-2 isn't going to cut it. I've got to be 10-2 and make it to a championship game, because that's going to give me that data point that is going to, do those. Those are things. The other things that I did notice in mentioning Alabama was the committee had to, and I mean had to, put Alabama in after they made the SEC championship game. They had to.
Yeah.
Because if they didn't, you would have what is happening right now with Notre Dame. You would have multiple teams going, all right, peace out. I'm done. I'm not doing a bowl game because I didn't make the college football playoff, because
season's over.
I'm 10-2 now. And, you had me ranked all of this, but because we now lost in the SEC championship game, a game that we are forced to be in, that we went in and played. Did we play like garbage? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Would it have been better if a cow would have just dropped a deuce on the E and the SEC logo in the middle of the field instead of us playing this game? 100%.
I would have watched that.
Yeah. But we made it there. And there's something that should be said for that. Now, Virginia was on the line.
Yeah. They needed to win that game if they wanted to get in.
And by losing, they dropped well below the 10 or 11 line that they were already at, and dropped down to like 15 or 16 or even lower. I don't even know where they finished, because I didn't pay attention to that part after we got the actual.
They're at 19 right now.
Okay, 19. Like, they had to be in. BYU was on the cusp, because look, being in the top 12 of the polls does not mean you're getting in the college football playoff. When you have the automatic conference champions that are going to get in based on their ranking, You have to be like a top 7 team or a top 8 team. You can't be number 10 or number 11 and lose. Now, a Texas Tech, if they would have lost to BYU, that's different. But if the committee would have kept out Texas Tech for losing if they had lost and kept out Alabama for losing, then now you cause that ripple down effect of teams going, well, it's better for me to sit at home because Miami just made it in because they sat at home, and the two teams actually played in the ACC tournament championship. They didn't make it in. I know that one of them's now 8-5, and they were basically a 500 team majority of the year. But at the same time, they didn't play at all. Miami was sitting out on a beach somewhere chilling, and they just made it into the college football playoff. So why should I play in this game? Can I not just defer and say, hey, no, I'm good. You can go to the number 3 team and play this game. I'm out. I don't have to play in this one to make it in.
The more that we discuss, how little the SEC and just the conference championships matter, I want to try and think of, if Alabama won this, they would switch with Georgia. But if they lose this, nothing happens. You don't get anything for losing. You don't lose anything, but you get a lot if you win.
Right. And basically, the way that the conference championship games were made out, according to the committee now, is that it is all positive and there is no negative from this. It is all right, I'm sitting here with 4 kings. Heck yeah, I'm going all in. Because there's only one thing that can beat me, and that's an ace. But even if I lose on this, I'm still not losing money because I didn't really have anything to really bet because I've already banked everything that I've got now. That's sitting there on a card somewhere. Yeah. The chips I'm putting in now is just extra. If I get another ring, I get another ring. But the biggest thing is that I'm making it into the tournament. Those are the things that the committee had to say. They had to put an Alabama in because if they didn't put it in, then you do have that ripple down effect that does cause more teams to go, I think I'm good. I don't have to waste money flying to Dallas to play in the Big 12 championship game. I don't got to fly to Indianapolis to play in the Big 10 championship game. I'm good. Like, I'll just go ahead and sit at the house and I'll watch, 2 teams that are 3-4 or something like that play. And I'm already set to make it into the college football playoff. There was, and this is where the ripple down effects occur, and we do have your phone calls. We're going to go those in just a second, 256-576-977. What Notre Dame did yesterday after being left out of the college football playoff is massive. And there is a massive ripple down effect from what they did that maybe, and I say only maybe, Notre Dame would be able to do. But if other teams follow suit, then you're about to have an even bigger issue. We'll explain when we come back. 256-576-977 as we continue on the Blitz. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone, and WZZN TV.
This is The Blitz with Joe Hunk and John Abraham. 256-576-4977.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation. But did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Johnson & Hayes Physical Therapy was built on treating athletes, and today we treat so much more. Whether you're a high school competitor, weekend warrior, or recovering from surgery, Johnson & Hayes pairs you with a dedicated therapist for one-on-one consistent care. We offer specialized programs in sports rehab, neurological therapy, pelvic health, post-concussion care, and more. Founded by lifelong athletes, trusted by top physicians across Alabama, Johnson & Hayes delivers results. Visit johnsonandhayes.com and get back to what you love.
Tom Abraham here for my friend Mike Owen at Owen Home Appliance Center. You know, the holiday season is just around the corner. So come to Owen Home Appliance Center and get the complete Frigidaire kitchen. You buy the fridge, the range, and the microwave, and you get a dishwasher free. Or maybe you need a commercial kitchen for that huge family coming in for the holiday season. Let them help you with brands like Viking, Mealy, KitchenAid, Z-Line, and Cafe. Quality products, quality pricing, quality service. That's what Owen Home Appliance Center stands for. Just 8 miles south of the river on 231.
Remember, don't try this at home, kids. I am a professional.
Tuesday, December 16th, we want you to help us celebrate the holidays by helping the Marines Toys for Tots Foundation. All you have to do is bring an unwrapped toy to Field Day, located off of University Drive on Tuesday, December 16th.
Welcome to the party, pal!
We'll have food and live broadcasts of the Tom Abraham Show, plus the drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton.
1 year membership in the Jelly of the Month Club.
Clark, that's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
That it is, Edward.
It's the perfect way to celebrate the holidays by helping the Marines Toys for Tots Foundation, presented by Talent Heating and Air. The party starts at 5 p.m.
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas from 97.7 ESPN, The Zone, Talent Heating and Air, and Toys for Tots. We'll see you on the 16th.
Look, Daddy, teacher says every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
That's right. That's right.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
We're about to get to your phone calls. 256-576-4977.
Sorry, I was laughing at Waka Flocka. What the heck?
What?
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
It sounds a little provocative.
It is.
Gets the people
absolutely
going.
Yeah, it absolutely does. Also, before we get to the phone calls, I wanted to say a special thank you to somebody. Over the weekend was the Grissom Tigers held their youth wrestling event that was taking place over at the high school.
Yeah.
And the matches got started probably an hour later than what they were really supposed to, because they were supposed to get started at 9. They didn't almost get started until 10. It was because of a lack of referees being available for all 6 mats. And so what happened is they had to kind of readjust the brackets and everything like that. The only reason that we were able to eventually get started is because the executive pastor for Willowbrook Church, who was there with his family because one of his grandkids was wrestling, hopped in. And so Steve Lacy just wanted to say thank you, because he hopped in on one of the mats to be a referee. That's because awesome. He had done that in the past. He was like, I was talking to his daughter. She's like, he was just here because he was going to watch his grandson. And
it's not a job anybody could do.
No, because you definitely need to know what's going on. It's not like, you call ball, strike, out. That's really all you need to know. Okay. That's literally it. You start with 1 strike. That's it.
Yeah.
No, he hopped in, and that was the only reason that we were able to actually get all of the matches going, because he hopped in when he could. Nice. So just wanted to say thank you to that. Obviously, all the referees that were there over the weekend. My son was literally 1 second away from picking up his first victory. Referee had the hand up. He almost had the kid pinned. Dang. And then the kid lifted his shoulder up, and he eventually lost in the 3rd round. Man, no, I mean, if you saw how everybody reacted to him almost winning, you would have thought he won.
Okay.
It really was. My wife has a video of it. She's going to send me of that. But no, we appreciate you, the executive pastor Willowbrook, Steve Lacy, for hopping in.
We're going to keep that countdown going to when he finally wins that first match.
He's got another one this weekend in A-Rab.
We're going to get the party poppers and everything.
Oh, no.
Confetti's going to be everywhere.
If you put a video on me, you see me, I'm standing behind the line like I'm supposed to, and then the better and better he started doing in the match, because at one point in time he had a 7-point lead. I'm like, come on. And so I start inching closer and closer and closer to the mat behind the coaches because we talked. I was like, I'll stay behind you. I promise I'll stay behind you. I thought I was about to win. I was ready to just dogpile right there. It almost happened. But there are going to be teams that are going to be dogpiling potentially if they win a national championship. We have some people in the comments on WZZN TV that we are going to get to here in just a second because they're really good questions, but we also have callers on the phone lines as well.
No doubt. Bama Brad joins us first. Bama Brad, how you doing, man?
I'm good, guys. I called in for one thing, but I have to take exception with Joe's comment there about all you got to do is call ball one, or strike one, strike two, strike three. I umpired baseball for a long time. Not quite that easy, Joe. Thank you.
I know. I meant like on a T-ball game. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like just more people know about baseball than wrestling rules.
Yeah, I think it's more about it's more about it when you get those like 14-year-olds out there. So I agree with you. I do.
I'm just busting your shop.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of baseball, what I called for, I heard the comments earlier in the conversation about changing quarterbacks. I'd like to be on fly on the wall and see what Saban was actually thinking, but he won't tell you one way or the other.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like Clayton Kershaw on the mound. He could be on his game, doing everything he can do, and the players behind him are making errors, dropping balls. You don't always have it. Sometimes you do have to go to the bullpen and pull somebody out.
Absolutely.
There's nothing wrong with having to do that, and it shouldn't kill a kid's confidence if that happens, if for some reason he struggles. But that being said, this is not all Ty's fault. The quarterback always gets all the blame and always gets all the heroics when the game's going right. But there were a lot of things going on. Our offensive line is struggling right now. It's been struggling all year. We're dropping passes. Ty is holding the ball too long. He's not accurate with the ball at times. It's just a lot of things. But, it's like a baseball game, Joe. You could be a 400 hitter, and sometimes the ball looks like a beach ball, and sometimes it looks like a golf wiffle ball coming up.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And it was, our body of work this year, the first game of the season, last game of the season, the bookends, it looked really, really bad. But how good is Georgia? Georgia's really good, and we beat them at their place. Our body of work in the middle of the season, it proved that Alabama has got it in them. I don't know if they're going to continue to play that way or not. But we'll see. I think they deserved in. Of course, I have rose-colored glasses, but I think they deserved in. I can't think of anybody behind them that didn't get in that would be any better, other than maybe Notre Dame. And my thing on Notre Dame is get in a conference. If you want to be considered all the time, get in a conference. If they were in the ACC, they'd have been a lot. They'd have been no doubt they would have been in. So get in the conference. It needs to be the same for everybody across the board. And as far as Mr. Phillips, they called in this morning. Virginia lost. I'm sorry, but they lost. They got put out. There's a couple other teams in the SEC that are better than Virginia are that didn't get in. It's coming to two super conferences. You're going to have a Big Ten and you're going to have an SEC conference, and the rest of the guys can play their Division I, AA, whatever they want to call the thing. They can have their own conference. James Madison shouldn't be in there competing with guys that they're competing with. It's not that they're not deserving. It's not fair because of the competition they played. It's not fair for them to be put in there and have to play those games. Tulane the same way. They may compete, but I don't see it happening.
Yeah.
But,
and
as far as Bama's concerned, go ahead.
No, you got it. You got it. Finish that thought.
I was just going to say, as far as Bama's concerned, if we got left out, I wouldn't have understood because of the way we performed the other day in that game. But, you got to go back and look at the body of work in the middle of the season, and they played really well in the middle of the season. So it's supposed to be an overall body of work and a strength of competition that's played. It's not supposed to be based on one game. So that's all I got to say about it. Roll Tide.
Appreciate that call, Bama Brad. Roll Tide to you. And I did watch those group of five games. And James Madison, they looked good. Tulane, they were able to do really well against North Texas, and that score is a little bit closer. So the teams that we did get in from the group of five, they're capable. But again, whenever they're going to face off against these teams,
they're 15 and 20 point dogs right now.
You got Oregon facing off against James Madison. You got Ole Miss, who already destroyed Tulane early in the season. I mean, we're looking at teams and games that we've seen already, or that we, have seen in the past, where it's just like, James Madison, good for them. They're in. They have a little party that they're celebrating. They're probably going to put up a banner for it. But
they did have a party, by the way.
You're facing off against Oregon.
Well,
and for Tulane, this is a great, farewell party for John Summerall. Good for him. He got in this thing. But you're about to get demolished by Ole Miss.
Look, we were talking about messages that the committee sent. Let's look at this from a 10,000-foot view outside of the fact that a Notre Dame didn't get in, a Vanderbilt didn't get in, like those things.
Mm-hmm.
For the first time in history, you have two G5s, two non-A4s that have an opportunity to win a national championship. Now, do any of us on God's green earth and aliens 10 million miles away think that this is going to happen? No. Okay, like nobody does, outside of the ones that are wearing the purple jerseys and whatever kind of green and blue that Tulane wears. No, but they have an opportunity. You know what that does? That now means your Jack States, your App States, your Georgia Southerns, your Alabama States, and I know they're FCS, but you see what I'm saying is all these non-A4s, your Troys, all of those can now realistically walk into a home, look a player in the eye and say, at Troy, you can play in the college football playoff and you can win a national championship.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, is the likelihood very likely? It's probably 0.001% opportunity. But that's also way more than 147 other teams have right now.
No.
So you're in. You're going to get the opportunity to play on that field, and now it is 100% up to you. As much as we bash and make fun of all these other tournaments that go on, Maplesville had an opportunity and took it and won a state championship in their division. Now, they're not going to have to turn around and eventually have to play Thompson because they would get shellacked, and we all know that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can win a state championship if you go to Maplesville. You can win a national championship if you go to G or JMU and Tulane. You get into the field. We have never been able to say that about a UCF, a UAB, a USF, all those. And some of them have changed conferences.
Yeah.
But now San Jose State and San Diego State and Utah State all can make it into the college football playoff and have an opportunity at a national championship. That is the balance of sport. Now, again, will it happen? Most likely not. But the argument now in recruiting has now given, hey, we don't just get one team in now. We can now get two. We now make up 1/6 of the field.
Yeah.
That's a massive thing.
Yeah, and I think it is cool to at least see a Tulane and a James Madison in this thing. But even if they do overcome their first challenge, Tulane will have to face Georgia in their second. So
again,
it's a gauntlet.
Hey, look,
it's
it is
gauntlet.
0.0001% chance. But now, would you rather go and play at a North Dakota where you may get into the field of 24, or would you rather go and play for Texas State, win your conference, and be able to make it into the college football playoff, have that patch on your jersey that will be up in your office for the rest of time, and say, I was on the same field with the people that I was told I was not better than, and I played them on that day. Did I lose? Absolutely. But I got on the field.
Yeah. And Bama Brad did make a good point. It's going to come down in the future. We might see just two big conferences. I don't think they're going to be called the SEC or the Big Ten, but it will be two massive conferences, whatever their names are, and it'll probably hold around 70 to 75 teams, more or less. But I feel like that is, the only way that we can kind of fix the college football in the state that it is right now, where all of these conferences are battling for the same poll, but it's just not always the same when it comes to the talent. But we continue on the phone calls, 256-576. 97.7, just 1-4, by the way, in between that.
Yeah.
We got Noah on with us. Noah, how you doing, bro?
I'm pretty good, I reckon. The reason I called in was I found a story about a 4-star quarterback named Legend Bay.
Wow.
He wanted to go to Ohio State and play. And his mother and brother would not sign the parental consent form for him to go to Ohio State. And the only school they would let him go to was Tennessee.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, that doesn't make sense to me because Joey Aguilar, he's what, a sophomore?
No, that guy's old.
He's not.
He's an old guy.
Old, but no,
I think
he's
he's like a junior or a senior.
Yeah. I'm not sure how much eligibility he has left, if he does have any. But yes, he is a senior. But I think that he was also trying to petition for an extra year, so he may be done.
He might be able to get one though, because I think one of those years was at an FCS school, so might have been like a Division II.
Well, never mind then. I thought that Julian Sayin had a lot more time left than Joey Aguilar did.
No, Joey Aguilar played 2 seasons at App State, 23, 24, and then obviously 25 at Tennessee. I think he is also at a JUCO as well. And so I think what he's trying to say is that he deserves the eligibility because of that JUCO year. And so, but Tennessee also has a really good quarterback room. And, there's they do have some backups that are most likely going to be getting the start next year. But I could see where, Bay was only going there, but he did want to go to Ohio State. It's crazy. And it's that his mother was the one that was keeping up with the Tennessee staff. She was the one communicating everything.
It's a good mom.
Yeah. She even hinted that she may have forged his signature on the NIL to send it over. So yeah, there's a lot to this when it comes to Bay.
I mean, if you're 17 years old, you might not be able to go wherever you want, but there's a point in time where you just got to let them go.
Yeah. Look, and where's he from, by the way? He's from Texas. So it's not like this is like, hey, I want you to go to A&M because they're only 45 minutes down the road. I mean, either way, he's leaving and going to be 2 to 3 states away, regardless. I mean, I guess the only reason why you would choose Texas is because Tennessee will at least come to the state of Texas at some point in time, and that's a closer thing, I'm assuming. I don't know why your reasoning would be.
Yeah, and then one more thing, the Chiefs flipping suck this year.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
Oh,
golly.
They had the same issues that Alabama had on Saturday, just dropping them passes, man. I mean, they enjoyed just way too many Butterfingers on the flight.
I mean, the Chiefs, they cannot.
They were playing at home.
It's tough for a team to continue at such a high level. But for the Chiefs, I mean, this type of fall off, it's so structured. It seems like this is the only way it could have happened. They couldn't absolutely suck, but they do suck, and it's apparent, and they're looking very pedestrian this season. Most likely, I would say more than a 75% chance they will miss the playoffs this year.
Yeah, Kelsey, good Lord, he has 3 drops that resulted in picks this year.
He's probably his wife is his fiance is probably pissed at him, and that's the reason why he's playing so bad, because the city of Kansas City wouldn't move some things around so she could get the wedding venue she wanted. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, I think she done something and ruined him.
Don't all women. I'm just joking.
It's Taylor Swift. I think we should know the history by now, right?
I'm just joking. I was just joking, by the way, Joe.
No.
And Noah.
No.
Yeah.
All right. Noah, we appreciate it, bro.
Appreciate that call, man. Good stuff.
Yep. Y'all have a good day.
All right, you too. Before we continue on the phone line, some of the comments that are coming in right now from Chaz. Notre Dame should join a conference. Basketball's already in the ACC. They would have been in the ACC championship and would have been fine.
They would have.
Fully agree with that.
And a few years back, remember, Joe, they had the ACC patches on their helmets, on their jerseys, and then they were just like, oh, you know what? It's good to be independent. And we can see that because them saying, no, we don't want to go to a bowl game is actually just going to save them money because they won't have to pay for any of the travel, any of the costs for anything else. Because guess what? All other teams that are opting out of these bowl games, the Iowa States and the Kansas State,
Auburn's already is opted out because Auburn got asked if they wanted to be in a bowl game as well.
They aren't getting fined. I'm talking about the teams that were supposed to go to bowl games. They're getting fined from their conference because they don't want to do it. Kansas State's getting fined $500,000 because they're not going to do it.
That's a slap on the wrist.
It's a
even
slap
in the Big
on the
12.
wrist. But for Notre Dame, no money at all is getting taken out of their
because
pockets.
they're not in the conference.
Exactly.
The other part is so a lot of these I understand because a lot of the players are already gone. Either they've already taken their final, they're already back home. Honestly, like, I don't know for sure, but I feel that happened with UAH volleyball because they didn't expect to get into the NCAA tournament. Those ladies had already left for Thanksgiving. Yeah. And then they were like, you're in. You're like, oh, crap. Okay, I guess we'll come back early so we can practice. So, I mean, they were already in that, I've already played my last game. I can't really believe this. Like, they've had those emotions, and then they make it in the tournament, which is awesome. But mentally, they were already checked out.
Come on, these are college students we're talking about.
They're going home for Thanksgiving. For Notre Dame, they may be the only ones that can do this because their biggest paycheck doesn't come from the SE or doesn't come from ESPN. Their biggest paycheck comes from NBC. So they can absolutely go double birds in the air and say, no, I'm not going to participate in your bowl game. And, oh, I'm sorry, you want us to be a ratings juggernaut for your tier 3 and tier 4 bowls. Not going to do it, bro.
They really thought that they deserved it after that 70-7 win over Syracuse.
Look, I'm just telling you that if they do this and other teams continue to opt out, which is what's happening, then the bowl games start to suffer. Then we also already have to deal with the players that are transferring out. This is where the bowl issue is it. Now, Moulton put in the chat just a little while ago is that the bowl games could be moved to week 0. I would be totally fine with this.
How the hell is that going to work?
You know what I want? Again, take away all the bowl ties.
Yeah.
Just, you have 30 bowls. The top teams, and you just go straight down. If 13 and 14 didn't make it in the college football playoff, 13 and 14 will play each other next year in the Cheez-It Bowl. 15 and 16, you guys will play in the Peach Bowl. 17 and 18, and you just keep going down until you get all the bowl games going. There is your week 0 matchup in this bowl game. That's a kickoff game now.
I'm
okay with that.
I think I actually have an idea to how we can fix the bowl season, but it's going to take a little bit of time, and I know we still got phone lines to get to. So let's hit a break. When we come back, we're going to get to those phone lines and wrap up this edition of the show here on a Madhouse Monday. How about we do that? 256-576-97.7 if you want to squeeze yourself in. But we'll be right back here on The Blitz.
Joe Hunk, John Abraham, 256-576-4977. This is The Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The crimson and white jerseys.
Front court to the rack and the play.
The sound of a buzzer beater.
Got it to go as the buzzer sounds.
The Roll Tide chant from the crowd. It can only be Alabama basketball. Join the Alabama Crimson Tide right here on your home for Alabama basketball.
Listen to Alabama basketball all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
At Johnson & Hayes Physical Therapy, it's not just what we do, it's who we are. Founded in 2003 by Huntsville natives Scott Johnson and Todd Hayes, Johnson & Hayes brings exceptional care to every patient through an all-star team of highly trained physical therapists. From sports performance to post-op rehab, dizziness, women's health, and more. With 7 locations across North Alabama, expert care is always close to home. Learn more at johnsonandhayes.com. Johnson & Hayes Physical Therapy, where extraordinary care meets exceptional outcomes.
Your customers deserve the best, and so do you. You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loader from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best, and this machine has it all. With features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. And with our Workhorse Special promotion, that new 255 CTL is just $73,655. But it's only good through December 31st. Prices increase in January, so lock in your savings now and take advantage of year-end tax benefits to maximize your investment. Don't wait. The best time to buy that new Cat 255 is today. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor. We're here for you.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement. It's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Mark and Henry McDaniel, attorneys at law, are proud alumni of Madison Academy, and Madison Academy is proud of them. They have served our community through their practice, through volunteerism and service on national, state, and local boards. They explain the complexity of critical court rulings on local media. Their successful practice has been built on integrity. Both are veterans of MA Athletics and proud sponsors of Mustang football. McDaniel and McDaniel, attorneys at law. No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Talking Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Weekday mornings beginning at 7 a.m. Only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Last segment, best segment, 97.7 ESPN The Zone, WZZN TV. Tonight, the drive is going to be out at End Zone, so you can head out there with those guys, Wes and Steve, starting at 5 o'clock. Then at 6 o'clock, you have Bama Rewind, and then at 7, it'll be Monday Night Football between the Eagles and the Chargers.
Fun game right there.
Yes, it's also a very slow week college basketball-wise because outside of Florida and UConn playing tomorrow, everybody is getting ready because this is finals week, and so not a lot of games happening until Saturday.
Yeah. Let's knock out some calls. We got Wolverine Dan on with us. Wolverine Dan, how you doing, man?
Well, a lot of stuff's going on right now, for crying out loud. Yeah. Real quickly, now the playoff, is it set in stone already, or are they going to announce it Tuesday?
No, it's set.
It's set in stone. On the final one, they do at 11 a.m. on Sunday.
Tuesday. Notre Dame's in, Miami's out.
Yeah. Scratch that.
We're
Flip it. Reverse it.
fortunate to have your station and other stations like you around the whole nation. We can talk sports. It's entertainment, and what guys and girls like to do.
Yeah.
You know, talk sports. And that's all good. It's what this is. All right. Now, it's more about. I've always said it's always about the kids that play the game. We understand that, and that's all I really care about. It. You know, I don't play the darn game. I just watch it for entertainment. Now, with that said, I don't know. I have a lot of comments of what I think about what happened over the weekend, but you know what? I'm going to set those aside. Let's just, it's NIL, it's the transfer portal. It started with that, and it seems like every year it gets worse and worse. And they're going to just ruin a beautiful game. It was all about pride and just playing for your school. So that's my statement on that. So let's just sidebar that. But I do want to mention, I think it's important, and it won't be long. First off, the Red Wings beat the Kraken, which I was very pleased. The Pistons are on fire. That team is unbelievable. Glad I got money on them. And then, of course, the Michigan Wolverine basketball team, Lord have mercy.
Yeah, they're looking good.
Beating people by 30 to 40 points a game. Oh, my. If this team stays like this, I got a natty coming.
You definitely got a strong case for a run in the national tournament. Natty, a little bit crazy, but at the same time, could possibly be the team.
Whoa. You beat Gonzaga by 40 points. That ain't.
Yeah, but we're talking about, getting into the tournament. The tournament's it's a different game.
I think they're in the tournament, guys.
Oh, they will be.
It's almost they will be. Yeah. So so that's it. So I mean, I'm not going to get on what everybody's been talking about. I'm just going to move on.
All right. Well, we appreciate what.
All right. Yeah.
All right.
Talk to you later. Bye.
See you, buddy. Yeah, we had to squeeze in a few conversations here because Brandon was also holding for us. Brandon, how you doing, bro?
Man, it was a fun weekend. A real fun one.
I kind of hated it, but I loved it at the same time.
Well, we went to the Final Four Friday night at our high school. We didn't do much better than Alabama did. Worth County had some pass rushers that I guess they were like suppositories behind the Saturn V rocket. I guess you could be a good way of putting that.
That's nice.
And the most memorable part of that night was me looking at my son when we're sitting at the Waffle House at 12:20 in the morning, and I told him, I said, if these waitresses get in a fight, do not get involved.
Oh,
I thought our waitresses were going to throw fists in the Waffle House.
Oh, I mean, yeah, it's Waffle House at midnight.
And that's basically just like UFC 675 right there. That's where it always happens.
You guys punched your tickets to get in there.
I would keep wanting to say we need to go to 24 teams in the playoff and limit it to a 15-game season one way or another. But at what point does the group of six realize that it's not fair to them to not have their own playoff?
I think it's more about the money. I mean, honestly, think about it. I mean, just SMU and Tulane getting in, they're getting $4 million for this game. That's going to go to the conference.
Yeah, how much money could you make, though, if you had your own 2014 group of six playoff?
See, the 2014 thing is for me is like, I mean, I want to say 16 and cap it there just because everybody gets you actually get everybody playing the same length of games. Believe it or not, I hate bye games. I hate getting a bye.
I do too.
I mean, I don't care which sport it is, baseball, football, any of them. I hate the bye. I mean, how many times have we seen an upset on a Thursday or Friday in the SEC tournament because the teams that got a bye are playing a team that's played a game or two the night before or 2 nights before? So I hate a bye. To have everybody playing, and if you pick Alabama to face the number 16 team in the country, then okay, go for it. If Indiana's playing the number 17 team in the country, great. Just have everybody playing the same length.
Well, I just feel like that, they keep getting left out. They're glad to get 2 in. If they had their own playoff like D2, there would still have to be money in it some way, somehow.
Yeah. And we appreciate that call, Brandon. Good stuff from you, man.
Okay.
Wish we can get some more time with the listeners.
Don't even call sooner.
We'll have tomorrow, the day after that. I mean, we got the whole week to talk about all of this and so much more. But 2014 playoff opinions, we're going to find out and talk a little bit more about that, as well as what the bowl games need to do to stay relevant moving forward. We got some ideas on that we're going to get to throughout the week. But we got plenty of teams to get into this week as we prep for all the playoffs and so much more. So keep it locked in to 97.7 ESPN The Zone. For me and Joe, we'll see you guys in 22 hours here on The Blitz.
I love you.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. I know your accident is the real thing, and they happen to real people.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. There's a lot of talk right now about bigger,